Welcome back, Smooth and Crypto. I'm your host, Maxwell Smooth. We have an amazing live stream for you today. We have Scott and Josh. How are you doing today, guys?
Yep.
Yeah, doing really good. Thank you.
I know when you start a stream and someone asks how you're doing, I never know. Shall I speak first or let the other guys speak? So we was going to speak on top of each other.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I was watching you. I thought he's not going to speak.
Yeah, no, I'm good, man. Really good. Just really want to get as much content out there about Flux. Go through the white paper, get everyone well up to speed with what it is, and I want people to understand how simple this really is.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people have been, I know a lot of people get it, and I know a lot of people need just a little bit more time to get it. And, kind of how you were explaining it to me, it sounds a little more simple when you verbalize it and you kind of contextualize it. But I know some people just aren't really that great at reading white paper and kind of putting it to the eye of everything. So I definitely think we're going to get a lot of good clarifications today in this live.
Definitely.
Yeah, Flux has been one of those things that, you see the number, the buy and burn number, and it just seems crazy, right? Over 100%. But when you really dive deep into it, it really has some crazy stuff going on under the hood, if you know. So if you want to bring up, the white paper, and you can read through it and go through it, if you want to just kind of do a, not an elevator pitch, but just kind of give a little basic kind of explanation about it, we could do that too.
Yeah, that's ready, mate. If you want to just bring that up on the stage. There it is. Yeah, I'll sort of just read a couple of these bits, and then we'll jump through and we'll get into it. So yeah, Flux is the protocol. It's going to be launching on Titan X, and you can use liquid Titan X only to come into it. It's an auction protocol, but with a pretty exciting twist. So we've coded in there that there has to enter the auction, you have to put an equal amount of buy pressure into the LP. So we love auction distribution. We love how it works. We like that daily, excitement and sort of game that's there, but there needs to be a reason to buy. There needs to be a really solid reason to buy, because the auctions are so clean that everyone comes in every day auction. They use the auction system, but there's a lot more auctioning than buying, right? So we wanted to figure out a way where we could get equal amount of buy pressure on the auction token. So that's Flux, and that's kind of the elevator pitch of what it is and how it's going to be used.
That's awesome. Yeah. And, it just seems like with not only buy pressure included on the LPs, that's going to do, I think, really well, but also kind of gives a new spin on how something like Flux could benefit, Inferno, Titan X, Blaze. I mean, like really a lot of different things all at once.
Yeah. I mean, we've, so sort of just jumping through there in response to that is we've chosen to pair this with Inferno because we've got such such a confidence with how we believe Inferno is going to perform in this Titan X bull run, and we want to be a leverage on that. Inferno is a leverage on Titan X, and we want to build Flux as a leverage on Inferno. And so to pay homage to that, and to also to pump the token that we are bonded to, we've chosen to do quite a solid buy and burn on the Inferno token. So with every auction that comes in, there's quite a solid percentage of that is allocated just to buy and burn the Inferno token. So I think that's going to be really interesting to see the Inferno token be pushed up, which is paired to Flux, and for that cycle to constantly sort of drive against each other, or drive together, and push both sides of the pair up. So this is the auction page, right? So we can go through this and sort of just help everyone understand exactly how day one is going to play out in terms of token emissions, LP, and that sort of thing there. So, Scott, do you want to sort of just run through some of these line items here, how day one's going to operate in the auction?
Yeah, I'm sorry everybody, I'm on my phone, so I'll do this sort of from memory. So just pick me up if I miss anything, because I can't really read that. But basically, the day one auction, it's the only auction where there's no market buys. Obviously, when the protocol first comes online, there's no LP, so we need to form that LP so that there's no market buys or forced within that first auction. So 100% of what you put into the protocol will go into the auction on that first day only. When we've just changed this actually, so originally the white paper said when 50 billion Titan X came in, it would be paired with 35 billion Flux, but because of the price increase of Titan X, because of slippage, and because of a cleaner, so the price we was doing now, it was going to be 1.43 times the price of Titan X. Now it's a solid 1.5 times. So we've changed that to when 30 billion Titan X comes in, it's going to be paired with 20 billion Flux, and that is going to be 1.5 times Titan. So there is 75 billion Flux tokens available on day one, and like I say, 100% of what you put in, you'll get your fair share of that 75 billion Flux. I'm just trying to see this. Yep, so I've pretty much covered that. I think, yeah, so we're on to day two. So sorry, as well, on day one, after that LP is formed, when the rest of the Titan X that comes into the protocol will be shared out as per every other day. The only difference is the full 40% that goes to the staking pools on that first day, the full 40% will go to the 8-day pool. And that's just to make that 8-day pool nice and juicy, to encourage stakers. And then from day two, that's where our 50% forced market buy and stake comes in. So from day two, if you put $1,000 in, $500 will go into the auction. You'll get your fair share for that $500. And then the other $500 will buy on market and max stake automatically for you. It's all in the same transaction. It's just one button. It does it all for you, but it just causes that guaranteed sort of market buy pressure. So that's the main points on there. Like I said, I can't really see it. Josh, have I missed anything in particular?
No, Alma covered that perfectly. I think what's really interesting for me is that day one, that 40% Titan X allocation that we've got for staking, that full 40% is deposited to the 8-day pool. So I think, depending on how good day one participation is, that 8-day pool could be pretty attractive, right? I think 40% of everything that comes in, that's going to be good.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's probably going to be one of the biggest 8-day pools we'll see.
Yeah, so, 40% is a lot.
Yeah.
It's
going to be good. You got any questions on that, on how that day one and day two, so day two, just to be clear, day two is the standard auction day for Flux. So once however day two is set up is how the auction will then run for the next 2,888 days. So the only different day is day one, and then everything else from day two is the same. It's the rules are set, and that's it, and it'll just carry on from day two onwards. So, you got any questions on that, Maxwell, on day one? How that works?
I mean, not too many questions, as much as just to kind of say it again. Every single day there will be new auctions, right? This is day one is specific to get the LPs and get the kind of percentages and the ratios together. Day two onwards up until 2,888 days will be individual auctions and progressively getting smaller and smaller.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. That sounds really good. And at the bottom of this, it says basically 43.4 trillion, 43.5 trillion flux will come in through all of the stages and everything. with this crazy buy and burn, all I have to say is I don't know how many Flux will be available at the end of that, because this is a very aggressive and different buy and burn that we're used to. And it's going to be very, very interesting to see how this plays out long term.
Yeah, I think just quickly on that, I think a few people are not sure how we get 128.8%. So basically, that's 128.8% of the auction emissions. So at the end of the day, the amount of tokens that come out, we're exactly matching the price of them tokens with a buy and burn in the next day. So it's literally exactly matched because we're using them tokens from that day to be bought and burnt the next day. So it's obviously there'll be a slight price change just before it ticks over, but it's almost exactly 100% of that price is bought and burnt. And then we've also got the 28.8% buy and burn from within the auction. So that's where that 128.8% comes from. I may have confused people a little bit more there, but hopefully that helps a few people.
Yeah, it's I like to say it's just, you've got an auction with X amount of tokens coming out. They have a value, and there is an exact equal amount of value that is used to buy from the LP. So you've got that real bonding of value on both sides, but it's of an equal amount. So as Scott was saying, the 128.8% is the buy pressure that is allocated to the value of what comes out in the auction. So it's a really dramatic thing to see. When you're scrolling on X or on Telegram, see this content with 128.8%. I can imagine some people look at it and think, what a load of crap that is like. But like when you say, Maxwell, once you look under the hood and you realize the science behind where those figures come from, it's going to be really interesting to see that and see how things play out with the price movements throughout the auctions.
Yep. Yeah, and I could just see, all it takes is a couple really crazy big buy days of a lot of, monetary value going into this, and we could see a really crazy inflation shock, right? It just goes negative, like on a big day, and it's just going to be really impressive to see kind of how this goes.
Yeah, I can't wait to see. I don't think there's been another auction system that has had that buy pressure guaranteed, and like more. So literally every day, more is going to be bought than what's going in. It's going to be impressive to watch.
Yeah. So while we're on that topic, I'll just jump across to the auto buy and stake mechanic page from the white paper.
Yep.
So auto buy and stake mechanic, the user comes into the protocol to participate in the auction. They have $2,000 to allocate to Flux. They deposit 1,000 into the auction, and 1,000 is then used into the auto buy and stake mechanic. So just like we've been saying there, it's an equal value from the auction. Equal value is used to buy those tokens from the LP. Yeah, I think what's interesting is it buys it from the LP, but then it max stakes these tokens, and these tokens are max staked and they are auto restaked. They cannot be claimed. They're taken off the market forever. But in return, the user who has come into the auction and been forced to use this system is then repaid back through the Titan X reward pools. So we've chosen to use Titan X as the reward here. So, there's the potential of price appreciation there on that token itself. So, you come into an auction, you play the game, you burn the token that you love, and you also get paid in rewards for doing so. So it's, there's quite a lot of benefits to coming in here.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's basically like a burn of the auto buy and stake, in a sense that it will never come back on the market, right? It'll just keep restaking over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it can never be. The tokens will always be auto staked, and the user who earns the stake will not be able to claim those tokens at the end of the auction. So, end of the stake. They'll be able to claim all of the Titan X from the 8-day pool, the 28-day pool, and the 88-day pool. I'll just click over to staking there. So it's here. Yeah, so you'll be able to get the 8-day pool, 28, and the 88-day. These will be what's eligible for the auto buy and stake. So the user that has the auto buy and stake shares will be eligible for the 8, 28, and 88. So up from that, for that full, the full lifespan of the protocol, you'll be earning those rewards in Titan X. What's interesting is we've also added in another mechanic where a user can come in and stake voluntary. So they can either stake their auction tokens or buy tokens off the market and then come into the protocol and stake them as you would in any staking protocol. You come in and lock your tokens up for 90 days as a minimum. But the beautiful thing for doing that is if you do a max stake, a voluntary max stake, you'll be eligible to be paid out from the 777 pool, which the auto buy and stake shares are not eligible for. So this is like a special pool. Those are familiar with Blaze. We have the special diamond hand pool there. So this is the Flux version of that pool. Different ways to get in and different different payout. But it's kind of that exclusive pool. If you come in and you show the Flux protocol that you are there to lock up your Flux tokens forever, and voluntarily, you will get rewarded, hopefully quite handsomely for it in 777 days.
Just on that one, Josh, as well, the way the Blaze pool works, you need 4,000 Blaze to enter, which at the minute, with the prices, it's not far off $8,000, whereas our 7.7 pool, there's no minimum. The only thing you need to do maximum is max stake to get that. So whether it's $5 worth of Flux or $5,000 worth of Flux, you can get in that 7.7 club by max staking.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Makes it a little more accessible to some people. And I think a big part of the Diamond Hand Club, especially in Blaze, is kind of the exclusivity of people who really believe in it. And the 777 Club will kind of give a little bit different twist to it, but it'll also show that, hey, you are going to be here forever, or for the full term of a 2,900 day basically stake.
Yeah, exactly. And so just some basic information there is the minimum staking period is 90 days. So if you come in and voluntary stake, you have a minimum 90 days and the maximum is the 28888. So there is that, and we've got similar share rate. So the share rate is very similar to what you see in Blaze, but with a slight difference. The share rate is the same as what you see in Blaze. It's the emission rate of the Flux token that's different. We'll head over to that in a minute. But so the share rate is decreases by 1.26% every 8 days. So essentially, that allows people to come in and stake in the protocol, later on in the lifespan, and still have a fighting chance of getting a good share rate within the rewards. So it incentivizes people to come in and stake later on instead of rewarding only the early participants, which we think's quite a useful tokenomic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that, and it also goes along with the 777 pool as well, right? It kind of has the same kind of go at it. Just you want to obviously reward people who've been there early and have been there for the long term, but also reward new people coming in. And if we all think kind of this whole ecosystem is going to do what it's going to do, that's kind of a great entry point, because sometimes these ones now, if you're getting in a year or two from now, something like this might be the way to get in on certain applications. So I like that.
Yeah, and I think as well, the reward token is Titan X. So we're all fairly bullish on its performance in this bull market. So those reward pools could be really, really attractive to jump into later on. So yeah, you could see a lot of a lot of stakers might come in, later on towards as we get towards the euphoria stage of the bull run, trying to pull out as much Titan X out of these pools as they can. That could be really interesting for the Flux token itself as well. I could imagine you see a lot of excitement here, around maybe the second or third 88th day pool. Could be a lot of action around there. So we're not short. It's not short-term protocol. We're setting something up for the long term. So there's a lot of interesting tokenomics to reward later people coming in later. So I think this is kind of one of our main things there. One of our main focuses is to have this protocol around for years and always reward people coming in. Scott, I was just wondering there, can you touch on I bounced around it because I made an error in what I said about the share rate, but with regards to the flux emissions and how that works, with the reducing emission rate.
Yeah. You want to go over that? So I don't know if you put us on that page, but I'll just do it from memory anyway. So it's slightly different to Blaze. Blaze, every day it drops by a certain percentage. So with Flux, it drops every week by 1.2%. So we're starting at 75 billion Flux each day, and then after 7 days, that'll drop by 1.2%, and then 7 days after that. So if you remember, the share rate emission was dropping 1.26% every 8 days, and this is dropping by 1.2. So it almost exactly tracks each other. So that means that later participants are getting almost exactly the same deal as early participants. Obviously, the early participants have had the benefit of pulling out all the staking rewards for the extra time, but people coming in later on are on an even keel with them going forward. So it's quite good how it's pretty evenly matched up.
I think as well we have it so that the emission rate doesn't drop each day. So if you say, let's say for the first 7 days of the protocol, you'll have the same amount of tokens up for grabs for that full week, and then it drops, and then again another week, same amount, 1.2% less. But so instead of it dropping every day, it's bigger chunks, but once a week. So that adds some difference there with how the tokens are coming out to market. We've got this big buy and burn there, so you can have that longer period with 1.2% more tokens available. But yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
It'll be more of a noticeable drop each week. Like you say, in other auction protocols where it drops daily, you don't really notice, whereas these drops are going to be quite big. So you'll notice a difference in 1 day compared to the next when that 1.2% drop comes in.
Yeah, I mean, just after the first week, it drops to what, 66 billion per day.
I don't think I can't remember what it drops to. Let me have a look 1 sec.
Yeah, because I think 1% is 1.5. I mean 7.5, then 0.2, but it's right around that. I mean, either way, call it 1%. It's still a lot, right? And at the end of the day, this is or maybe that's 10%. So either way, it's dropping a lot, and
74.1. It'll be on the 74.1 billion in the second week.
Yep. Yeah.
Nice.
66 didn't feel right coming out. I'm going to be honest.
It's still a full, pretty much almost a full 1 billion difference. That's what I mean. You will notice them differences in them drops.
Yeah, definitely. I think as well, it's because it drops more suddenly. So that's why we've chosen that for that once a week instead of every day. It's quite cool. I think the exciting bit, the part that everyone wants to hear about is the buy and burns. I think that's the main attraction in Titan X, build on Titan X protocols. Everything's very much centered around buying and burning different tokens, whether it's your main token or other tokens within the system. But we've actually got 2 separate buy and burns in in Flux. So they are two completely separate within the contracts as well. So you've got the Flux buy and burn, and then as I touched on earlier, you've got the Inferno buy and burn. So so when I explain these, this is completely separate to the value that's used for the auto buy and stake. So this is two completely separate allocations, which is used for buy pressure on Flux. So first, you've got the Flux buy and burn, and that's 28.8% of all the Titan X that comes into the auction is used to buy and burn Flux. So that goes through the Titan X Inferno LP, and then the Inferno is swapped to Flux, and the Flux is burnt. So taking Flux off the market, reducing those tokens that are on the market, also putting buy pressure through the Titan X Inferno pair. So that's going to be really cool. That is going to aid the it's a disinflationary protocol, which means that it inflates, but the inflation is on a downward reduction, so it's reducing amount, hence the 1.2%. So what we've got here is buying the Flux, taking off the market, supporting the price there, but also pushing value through the Inferno pair, and the Inferno is our pair, right? So it's pushing value through the token we're paired with, but also buying and burning the Flux token. And then you've got the Inferno buy and burn, which takes the Titan X, again, swaps in the Titan X Inferno LP, and then straight burns the Inferno. So pushing more value into that LP, and then just taking that Inferno off the market forever. And the Inferno token, those who don't know the Inferno token, is a meme coin that's from the Blaze team. And that is minted out through 8-week cycles. We've got 2 more cycles left until that becomes a completely capped supply. And then with the assistance of Flux, that's going to become hyper deflationary, as we've got 17.2% of all the auction value is buying and burning Inferno off the market. So every single day, 17.2% of everything that comes into that auction is used to buy and burn Inferno. So that's going to be pretty special to see. And I think for me, the most exciting part is that we are paired to the token that we're buying and burning. So we push up the value of Inferno, we make it more scarce, but we also push up our pairing. It's going to be good. It's going to be really, really beautiful to see how that plays out.
Yeah, and Flux is also adding a lot of economic energy into Inferno as well, and I know it has a buy and burn, this and that, but with how Inferno's looking with that buy and burn, and then you add even more buy and burn on it, it's going to be pretty wild, in my opinion. I mean, we already see a crazy price shock on Inferno since its creation. I mean, the graph looks awesome, right? And it's been nothing but burning and burning and burning. So this is going to be quite the gasoline on the burn that's already happening.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool. And we are in a really good place with the protocol at the minute in regards to launch. So we are aiming to launch this at a really optimal time for Inferno. So I'll leave that piece of information with you guys, but it's looking good. It's looking really good. We're making a lot of progress.
And you look at that chart, the Inferno chart now, and that's being held back really with the ARB opportunity that it has with Titan X. Once there's no more minting, there's no more holding back, and you've got the extra buy and burn, it's going to be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah, Inferno, I'm looking at it right now. 47% of all Inferno tokens ever created so far are completely gone forever. So I mean, it's pretty remarkable.
Yes, and that's only going to go up. That percentage is only going to go up.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think like you said, Max, is it's not just the burning of the Inferno token, all that value from, you know, the auto buy and stake, the FLUX buy and burn, and the Inferno buy and burn, all that value goes through the Inferno LP, the Titanex Inferno LP. So yeah, it's going to be hopefully fireworks on the Inferno, or an Inferno, like we named it.
Yeah. And on top of that, the main LP for Flux is Inferno, right? But indirectly, Flux is interacting with Titanex, especially obviously it being its reward token, but also if you are pumping the Inferno Flux LP, indirectly pumping the Inferno Titanex LP for perpetuity, forever, and it's gonna be awesome.
So just to go a little bit into how the buy and burn works, it's going to be so the framework of the buy and burn contract itself is based very much upon the Inferno buy and burn. So it's completely decentralized. It takes an amount it takes a snapshot of an amount of value, and then it divides it by an equal share of the 24-hour period, which we have it's going to be callable every 15 minutes. So whatever's in that daily snapshot will be split into 96 periods, which is every 15 minutes to 24 hours. If the call is missed, you know, not called due to high gas or potentially just not called, which we rarely see, but if it is missed, it will accumulate into the next call. The second call will have the amount in from call 1 and call 2, and so on. You know, it will continually accumulate. If however many calls are missed, it will add up into that next call. So that's how the buy and burn works. I think it's people who know Inferno will be well accustomed to it. It's completely decentralized. We have only one thing that can be adjusted on there, and that's the slippage. That is completely the best way to do it. It's required. There's a minimum cap on there, so it can never be taken lower than 2%. So it can never be turned off. So that our worry was that if we put a function in there that can be controlled, people see it as centralized and that we can turn it off. So to counteract that, we reduce that down to 2%. So we can never take the slippage on the buy and burn lower than 2%. So it will never ever be able to be turned off or adjusted in that way. And with Inferno, we've never had to adjust the slippage thus far, and same with Blaze. So they've just been running decentralized and set from the start, and they've just worked beautifully, for the last few weeks, months. So yeah, just a bit of background there, how the buy and burn actually works. I think we've covered mostly the LP, right? Pretty happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that little bit there just needs updating, but yeah, we've covered it.
Yep. Basically, we haven't covered what we do with. So there's a 6% allocation. It's a good job I made this flowchart because I've missed a few things off there. There's a couple of small changes in this flowchart. Actually, I've just updated it tonight, so I need to get on the Git book and upload that. But just focusing here on the 6% allocation sent to the Build on Titanex staking vaults. So from all of the value that comes in to the auction, there's 6% that's taken away, and 4% is sent to the Dragon X vault, which is max staked. I think everyone's quite aware of how that works and its benefit to the system. And then there's 2% that is sent to the Helios treasury, which again is max staked, and those rewards go back into the community. And really like what a lot of the dudes doing. He's got some really interesting NFT protocol coming out soon. So yeah, very much focused on working around with the community and build on Titanex protocols, bonding them together and sort of, providing some LP bond in there and buy and burns. I believe the dude has. It's called Element 280, and I believe he's banning Blaze in there, Inferno, and Flux. So shout out to dude, because that's going to be incredible to see how that works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just on that, I read that white paper today, and it's looking quite good. I'm quite looking forward to see that coming out. Yeah.
Anything that bans more Blaze, Inferno, and Flux sounds good to me. So this last page is just sort of some marketing angles and a bit of headlines. Buy pressure physically coded into Flux. Sounds insane, but that is fact. So I do try and bring that one up quite a bit. You've got dual action auctions, 50% for the Flux emissions and 50% for the auto buy and stake. So we've gone quite into depth on that, and I'd hope that people can see how simple that really is. The value split, and it's one half goes here and the other half goes there, and it's an equal value. And the important thing is that it's an equal value, but the value that's taken to the auto buy and stake buys from the LP, and there's no way around that. It's physically coded into the contract. So that's pretty interesting. You've got, a little bit more there. And then the token that everyone's excited about, built on a hyper-deflationary asset, Inferno, as the main LP. So yeah, it's going to be really good fun. That's the white paper. I'm just trying to think if there's anything we didn't look at. Token distribution, I think we've gone mostly through there. 17.2% is the Inferno buy and burn. 28.8% is the Flux buy and burn. 40% it goes to the reward pools. 4% to the Dragon X Vault. 2% to the Helios Treasury. And 8% to the Genesis wallet. So this is all of the value that is used within the auction. You've still got the 50%, which goes off to auto buy and stake from the LP. And that's the white paper, guys. I don't know if you want to pull anything out from there, Max, that's or any interesting thoughts on that.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing for me, and especially why I like Flux, right? Obviously, I've made multiple videos about Inferno, right? I love Inferno. Inferno has some great design to it. And this seems like, and I said it before, this is the gas on the burn for Inferno, and Flux will be a standalone product, right? It's not just about benefiting Inferno, benefiting Titanx, which it does, right? But it's trying to be its own individual thing and help everything else within the ecosystem, right? Parts of the token allocation with Titanx is to other products, other projects, and it's going to have a very good benefit on Inferno and Titanx specifically. Also, a lot of other products, right? And I'm just really excited to see how this buy and burn really works, and how such an aggressive buy and burn does for not only its actual token, which is Flux, but also its main LP with Inferno.
Yeah, that was I know I keep going on about that. That was one of our core focus was to pair it with something that is and can be hyper deflationary, but also add value to that and push that price up whilst being paired to it. It's the Flux flywheel, as we've been nicknaming it. So yeah,
I like that.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, sorry, you go ahead.
Sorry, no, I just saw a comment that was interesting there from C Chef. So if you want just liquid Flux and not staked on day one, how is that done? Is that an option on the DApp?
Yeah. So
go on.
I was just going to say, so the wanting, so they only wanted liquid on day one. So what they'd have to do is they'd have to wait until the LP was formed, and then they'd have to go and buy on market, and then it would all be liquid and none of it would be staked.
Yeah. So if they want Flux tokens on day one, they would have to buy on market. But If they want to come into the day one auction, then none of that will be staked. That will be.
Oh, sorry, yeah, day one auction. Yeah, God, yeah. On day one, none of it would be staked or auto staked. Yeah.
Yeah, no, C Chef, you can confirm in the comments there, but I think it could mean either his question there. So I think both answers are good. So he would get. So if C Chef came in on day one and auctioned, he would all of those auction tokens would be coming out to him on day two, and none of it would be auto staked. So, yeah, nice.
Let's see if we have any other. Yeah. Crypto edit. Yeah, it is perfect timing. Good timing. I call it perfect timing. Right after Inferno is completely minted, 8 weeks has passed, which I can't even believe it's already been 6 weeks. It's actually pretty wild. But we have little to no time left in the Inferno minting. So if you do want to get Inferno, you have 2 weeks left, or you're just going to have to market buy it. And, as of right now, and every week has been in the past, right? Inferno has been a arbitrage on Titan X, which is exactly how it was designed to be. And it's just awesome seeing it through 6 weeks. And, it's been having its own pump. So having this after a fully minted Inferno, especially with hundreds of thousands of dollars in the buy and burn already, it's going to be pretty wild, in my opinion.
Yeah. The timing wasn't planned at all, I promise.
Well, that's why it's perfect. Perfect timing isn't always planned.
Very true. Very true. And to see, Inferno done X's on Titan X even whilst it's been minted out and had so much inflation on it, each week. Trillions coming out, it's pretty people don't want to sell it really. I think people can see what's coming. We've always alluded to the fact that we like to build stuff and we want to build stuff on our protocol. So yeah, it's not I guess it's not a surprise for anyone. So yeah, going to be cool, exciting times. We're well into our first audit. We've got very little issues have been found. There's been the odd low severity item, which is either informational or can be adjusted on the spot. There's not really been any major code changes or anything like that from the audit, so that's good. And we'll be continuing on testing this week, and then we should go into our second audit towards the end of this week. Fingers crossed nothing comes up, but it's all looking positive at the minute. And then we'll get into that second audit, and if we're all clear, we'll announce a launch date, and we'll send it. We'll get it out there. We're not looking to do any sort of long-term marketing strategy. It's just going to be once it's ready, we'll give you a few days notice, and we'll get it out there. So
yeah. I like how that. I think at this point in time, especially with the ecosystem we got building, it has been apparent that kind of the quicker things can come out, people like that instead of we don't need the marketing, right? We just need the product. And it really shows. I mean, things are launching relatively quickly. I've been in a lot of other projects where we have 6, 7, 8, 9 different things that are going to be built, but nothing ends up being built ever. So it's just really cool to see not only you guys really putting in a lot of work, but other people in the community as well, creating and building projects that all really do a great job in interacting with each other. And it's only the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, touch on that marketing point there. I think, as we was all working through the hyper inflationary part of Titan X and the lows, and we was all building, we was marketing hard as anything. We was, streaming every week. We was, out there just spaces every Sunday and pushing, and the protocols weren't there. They weren't ready. So I believe, everyone who's building at the moment, we've all done our hard, share of marketing. And I think now it's time to just, like you say, get the protocols out, let them speak for themselves. And the green candles will market themselves. You know, we've seen that in the last couple of weeks, how much the community is engaging, you know, how noisy everyone is. It's, there's a real buzz on X at the minute. It's it's starting to become a little bit obsessive for me, so I might need to take a couple of days away from it. But there's a real buzz there. There's a lot going on. So
yeah, and you feel it not only on X, but you also feel it on the Telegram as well. I know I don't really interact and type a lot in Telegram, but I always am kind of keeping an eye on it and watching it over time. And the amount of notifications and stuff I've been getting is kind of wild. So Twitter or X has been going nuts, and it's I think, you know, these products that you guys are making and other people are making as well, you can market them yourselves as much as you want, but it really does seem like our community really does a good job at marketing and really puts a lot of effort besides just you guys doing your thing. You know what I mean? It's really, if someone is making something or someone's saying something good, we're going to let as many people know as possible.
yeah, I love seeing community members producing content, like even just like AI graphics with a logo on or whatever it is. You know, I think
Yep.
I get a big smile on my face when I see Blaze artwork or Inferno memes. Like, yeah, I'd love to see more. I'd love a big push on that, and I'm always trying to, you know, entice it out of people. So you know, people have a lot going on, but when I do see that content, that artwork and stuff, it gives, you know, it does make me feel good. Puts a big smile on my face. Like,
Yeah, and you know, if you haven't made AI artwork and you're listening, it's very fun. I'm not just saying this; it is very fun to make it. And you know, a lot of logos and stuff are being made by AI at this current point. And I know a lot of stuff I've made in the past. You know, I've been using Twitter's Grok a little bit more, and it does a really good job of making some really great photos. So it's a great marketing thing, and it's fun to do.
I'm obsessed. I reply to nearly every comment in Twitter. I'll just jump on AI and reply with a picture that I've just made on AI. That's how quick you can do it. It takes seconds. It's brilliant.
Yeah, you're a bit of a whiz on the old AI images, Scott. Some of the stuff you come up with is brilliant, man. Love it.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah.
What do you use actually? Which software do you use?
I use Leonardo.ai. I think it's .ai. I use that, but I get my prompts from ChatGPT. So I quickly throw a little prompt into ChatGPT, ask for a decent prompt, and then I put that prompt into Leonardo and get an amazing image.
Yeah, the prompts are the most important thing. You know, you could think you're saying the right thing, but if you're not really saying it, it will completely give you something else. You know what I mean? And it's so funny when it does.
Yeah, I'll get some terrible ones sometimes, but I throw them in our joint chat just so we can laugh at them anyway.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, if you guys have anything else to add before, I know you guys are going to do your weekly roundup, but yeah, any other questions from the chat or anything you guys want to cover in particular?
For me, it's just if you're still not understanding it, just jump in the Telegram or contact us on Twitter. If you don't want to do it out in the open on Twitter, DM me. That's fine as well. Just if you want to understand it, there's several ways you can go about it. So just get in touch.
Yeah, good point. And we've for some reason we've been completely shadow banned on X, which is unfortunate. You know, trying to build a brand name there, and I even put a poll out this morning just saying on my personal account saying what's the best or what's the favorite place that you look for in Titan X for, you know, build on Titan X protocol information of the specific account. I said, do you look on the X page for the protocol? Do you look on the founders page of the protocol? Do you look in the Telegram? And it was a resounding X protocol page for on X. And so, you know, it got me wondering there. So we are shadow banned for some reason, and some people cannot see posts, some people can't see the profile at times, but it is there, and we are posting a lot of content on there. So I'm sharing it a lot, but it's FLUX_DeFi, and yeah, come and follow us. Give a follow. We've got, I think, only not even 200 followers on there at the minute. It is our Fed account. We have been banned from there a few times already, so we're doing something wrong to the X algo. I'm not sure what it is, but yeah, I encourage people just to come over and give us a follow and look out there for for updates on the launch. So yeah, it's at FLUX_DeFi.
Yeah, and people that are listening, these guys do a very good job at answering in the Telegram. If you guys have any questions, just get in the Telegram, ask them, and not only will they probably reach out to you, but someone in the community will reach out to you. If you're not good at reading white papers, these getting verbal things and biggest thing is I can say is the flow chart on the white paper does a very good job at putting everything into perspective. And that's kind of how when this was kind of happening, I read that and I was like, that makes so much sense. The flow chart is the ticket and the cheat code, in my opinion, to understanding Flux in particular.
Yeah, nice. I might even give that a little revamp and just put a little bit. I might do a couple of options, one with a bit more information on. So yeah, I'll probably work on that this week. And we've also got a guy who's doing some explainer style videos, if you remember them. So short animated videos of how the white paper is, and we've got some really cool images in there, and they're going to be animated. So that's going to be really fun to share that and to hopefully help people understand it a bit better. Nice. But truly, it is a simple protocol. There's not too much to understand. Staking protocol, auction distribution. There's a market buy, which is forced to do in your transaction. It's one big green button. Come to the dApp, choose your deposit, press the green button, and that's it. Jobs are good and you're away. So yeah, it's going to be fun. We'll do some run throughs of the UI probably early next week. But yeah, look, we've got the weekly Blaze also in about 20 minutes.
Yep.
So yeah, once I finish with you, I'll go and grab a quick drink and get ready for that one. So yeah, if anyone's watching, come over to the weekly Blaze on YouTube, head over there and you can come and chat to me and Ali. I think Scott might be showing up as well, so we'll have a laugh over there as well.
Yeah, awesome. And I don't like to bring people on that I don't think that are doing a good job. I think you guys are killing it. You guys are really putting a lot of effort in, and Flux, Inferno, Blaze, everything is just the beginning with what you guys are doing. So I'm really excited to not only have this relationship with you guys and having open conversations on my channel as well, but just having the ability to really explain it to people in the community is a very bullish thing, in my opinion. And you guys do a great job at it.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate you having us on. Brilliant. We really do. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm sure it's not going to be the last time. I think this is, we always have a good stream. And I think every time we do it, it gets a little bit better. So it's been a pleasure to have you guys on. Seriously.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah. Lovely. Well, we'll be hard at it. We'll be jumping on some other shows as well over the next couple of weeks. And then once we've gone live, we can, let's regroup and get back on here and we can see how things are going.
Absolutely. That sounds awesome to me, guys. And it's been a great live stream. Flux, if you guys have any questions, please get in the Telegram or follow them on Twitter and X, and they really do a good job at reaching out. So reach out to them. It's been an amazing live stream. Thank you guys so much for coming on.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. Cheers.
Absolutely. All right, guys, this has been Smooth and Crypto. I'm your host, Maxwell Smooth. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit these guys up on Twitter and Telegram. Until next time, peace.